It worked.
That's it.
Hey, stranger.
Hello, we figured it out.
Oh, we did, finally. Let me turn that round so I don't have to hold my phone. You're not holding your phone, are you?
No, look, hands free.
Best way, best way. How's things in New Zealand?
So the Prime Minister's just taken us to level 2, so strongly encouraged to work from home. I haven't had a chance to watch all of what she said in her commentary because I was teaching. Yet to catch up, but a couple of the girls have messaged me and said, and we've had an email from the office. Yeah, so this week different. Hi everybody, welcome to our joint IG live. This is Glenn.
Hey guys.
And, you will have seen a post on my page. Maybe I don't know, was it beginning of this year, end of last year?
Yeah, when you was over in Sydney.
End of last year. Yeah, after I saw you in Sydney in October.
Yeah.
And Glenn has started this campaign to raise awareness for mental health and how we need to take better care of ourselves. Now, this guy has been blowing up around the world, literally through Aussie, traveled over to the States, met some really cool people. And given the fact that we're all stuck at home, this is the time when people are looking for answers to questions they have and wondering why they feel fed up, anxious, stress, all the different things, right? So I thought we should go on and maybe have a chat about it and things that maybe you've learnt through spending time with people who have experienced lots of really heavy mental health stresses. So yeah, over to you, bro.
Oh, thank you. I mean, essentially what I always say to people, I'm not an expert. I've gone and got myself qualified in terms of mental health and things like this. I work with a lot of clinical psychologists, psychiatrists, and also the holistic approach. So when it comes down to mindset and knowing how to deal with situations like this is a circumstance that obviously is external to us and we really can't do anything other than what's going on in here. So I think the main thing that I always say to people is probably use this time to, as much as we're isolated in, we can't work, some of us, don't isolate yourself in not reaching out, because if anybody notices, and I think I said it to you today, I said the positivity or the positive that's come out of this is, look on your Insta story, the amount of people that are doing lives and connecting. Like it's almost a sense of going, oh, we're actually being taken back a step and learning how to become human again. But on the other side, you're going to have people going, yeah, but there's my job and there's work and there's things like that. We're not taking away the reality of the situation because we're all feeling it. But I did put some notes because I did speak to one of the psychologists before this, and basically the main things that they want to reiterate is avoiding speculation. So if you're going to start looking up or you're reading a lot of things online, just make sure that you're predominantly going to sources that are reputable, instead of what tends to be happening that we're seeing is when people are scared, they're sharing the sensationalized media headlines that are then scaring other people. So it's just this ongoing thing. Stay connected. I mean, we still have got the internet. So look what we're doing now. You're in New Zealand, I'm in Australia. Parents. Okay, so I've got 2 kids. Again, essentially, if you've got kids, you want to know how they're feeling, because my 7-year-old was talking about going to school and one of his young friends was talking about having the coronavirus.
Yeah.
He didn't understand what it was, but they're seeing it as a joke, and then they don't know if it's scaring them when they're seeing the news. So actually speak to them and see what they're feeling like. And just remember, as we say with mental health, it's okay to feel vulnerable or overwhelmed at this time as well. You can't take away the fact that it's something we've never experienced before. But just know that if you are prone to anxiety or any mental health, emotional struggles, to reach out to people. There are still the mental health organizations out there that are active and live for people to call. Don't make assumptions, or when you're listening to people, again, go back to reputable sources and manage how you follow things on social media. So I think what he's predominantly saying there a lot of the time is, a lot of psychologists I'm talking to about it to give advice to people is just watch what you're reading all the time and make sure you're going to sources that, like the World Health Organization is probably the top one. to listen as a reputable resource. Like if there's just like a gossip magazine or a rag that are going to a clickbait, so they're still selling their magazines.
Yeah.
Like it's just scaring people.
Yeah. And it's, if you've got a curious mind, you'll follow yourself down the rabbit hole on social media from one feed to another feed. And before you know it, you've spent an hour reading about doom, gloom, concern, and it just puts you in that headspace.
Yeah.
I said to the girls earlier this morning, a little beautiful dog walked past. It was a tiny little border collie, and it looked really cute. I was like, the dogs have got no idea what's going on. The kids have got no idea what's going on, and they're really happy. They're just getting on with life. They're not stressed.
Yeah.
And I said, what I tend to do when I feel a little bit like that, anxious, is I just jump on and start looking at the pets and the cute animals.
Yeah.
Just to put some lols
Yeah.
in there. I do have a couple of books, actually. This book was given to me for my birthday last year by some of the girls. And it's 101 Inspirations for Your Journey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's by Meredith Gaston. I don't know if she's French. Gaston sounds very French. Yeah. And yeah, it's basically full of pictures. It's a picture book with lots of positive, inspiring things to read. And sometimes if you just open this up, it's like a coffee table book. You just open it up and you read lovely positive affirmations just to feel a little bit better. Huh?
Yeah. I think that's the thing, isn't it? There's two sides of the coin with people. They go down the route of feeling anxious and panicking and then putting negative things in their head. And what do we often see? If you're having a bad day, you trip up, you follow it because you're then continuing to have negative thoughts, and then you carry on. If you set your day up in a positive way and think positive thoughts, and as I say, and you're probably the best character for this, exercise. It's the best form. We might be stuck indoors, but there's still ways to start being resourceful. So if anyone's following the campaign, what I've just taken this 2 weeks off, we're not fully enclosed down in Sydney, but content. I'm now doing podcasts with people in America and things like that. And we've been affected. So what I was doing as a job has been shut down. So I'm just like, I can't control that.
No.
I can control in here. And again, because I've got a wife and kids, I need to think about their mental health and thinking how they're feeling. Luckily, my wife is still working. My kids are oblivious. We don't watch much TV because we have the Wiggles on.
Is that good though? Oh. Is that good having the kids? Like, do parents benefit? Because sometimes it drives them mad. I'm not a parent, but lots of my friends are. And you go around to their house and the kids' TV's on, and it's just you can see like the girls or the boys dancing around literally to whatever's on, like Frozen or something. Yeah. Does it trickle into your ear and just you find yourself singing
the amount of songs as a parent that stick in your head and you find them singing at the most inappropriate times. And one of the things, if there's any parents that can ring true to this, when we lived in Thailand once, when we had our first child, I found myself rocking all the time, but with no child in my arms. And people used to point it out and go, Glenn, why are you rocking? And I'd be like, I'm not rocking. And because you get that used to all these kind of movements. And probably a year later, I was still going like, and they're like, are you okay?
Yeah, there's this one. So let's just say you're looking after a child and you're trying to get it to calm down, you're trying to soothe it. It's like, I think they call it the Thai bounce or something. Right. So you're sort of standing there and you're bouncing and then you just do one big like this. And then this sort of thing. And it's just to kind of soothe the baby. This is an imaginary child that I'm now holding here. And it's just bounce, drop.
Yep. But
just
for anybody who's not experienced that and sees someone just stood there, it looks like there's someone just, not altogether there, just like rocking. And then imagine putting that together. Rock, that.
It's a good move, that. Could be a great little dance routine. In fact, you can put that on TikTok. That should be a TikTok. Like,
So have you seen?
TikTok?
Oh, so I've just started using it for the past 4 months to disrupt TikTok towards the younger generation with a campaign. And even my kid, it was funny because we recently went to America, and from him seeing these YouTube people, he wanted to go to then see TikTok because he heard from YouTube. And when we went to America, he said, "Can we go to Santa Monica Beach?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Why?" He was like, "Oh, because that TikToker always shoots at Santa Monica, so I might meet him." So again, it's going in his head going, "Oh, I need to be there because of TikTok and this and this." So I'm just, everything I'm doing on the campaign that's dribbling through all the socials on TikTok to get to our kids' mind. And just like, it is resourceful. And what you see some of the kids do, you're like, how did they do that? It's amazing. Yeah. On the other side, you're kind of going, oh, you're not attributing your self-worth to merely how many likes you get. It's like Instagram all over again.
Oh, yeah.
So,
wasn't that good when they took the likes off?
Oh, amazing. Amazing. What was I going to say to you? Are you guys still teaching at the moment? Is your clubs closed?
Yeah, the clubs are open. We've got 100, the government said 100 people max. So they're all spread out. There's X's on the carpet on the floor where people can stand. Wow. They have to bring a towel. There's much more sanitizing spray around. Classes have been reduced down in times so that people can come and go from the club without all hitting the same time. Yeah. Which is good because it eases traffic flow. I mean, it's really making everybody think in a different headspace and how can we do this differently? How can we just do things differently? I would never be this much. I mean, I'm never on my Instagram, but this is twice in one day because it just feels like the right thing to be doing. I know everybody's getting stressed and anxious, and your campaign's been on that, blazing that trail for a while to bring awareness to it's normal. It's natural. Years and years ago, my grandparents' generation, you just didn't hear about it. Yeah. People wouldn't discuss it. Everything was just, stiff upper lip and best foot forward and suppress and push. And now it's all about embracing and being vulnerable. Because whatever you're feeling, if you're scared to talk about it, it's understandable. Yeah. If you want to empower yourself, share it, because then you're actually leading the way for the people behind you who are next in the queue to experience something. They might be 6 months away from feeling what you're feeling now, and just hearing something from somebody that that they're not okay. Sometimes it makes their experience 50% less painful.
Couldn't agree more. And the amount of people that have now come on the campaign, like in terms of yourself and public figures in terms of what they do for a living as well. What a lot of people have realized is as soon as they've let their vulnerability out and shared their story, they've suddenly gone, like, excuse my language, but they've gone, shit, I never realized that people resonate with me more when I talk about my truth. And it's just like what you see, like, so we see you ultimately on stage, powerhouse, going through this, but there's days you're going to have shit days or not feel your best. And I think sometimes that with the social media, it's attributing to people's mental health because they're going, oh, Rachel's living the life, she's got this. But they don't know what's going on behind. And when they see someone on TV and then they've looked at this campaign and read their story and gone, I would never have known that. Yeah. It's a job. Sometimes we have to post on socials what is our job. Just as if you're in corporate or infrastructure, all your feed is going to be about construction or chefing. Like, it's what you do. So it's no different, I think. And I always say the word, I took this word because I heard it once and I was like, I'm going to claim that one. Decelebritize.
Oh, yeah.
In whatever sector. And I was just like, yeah, because we all bleed red. We're all human. We all go through things. And there's only been a few people who have gone, oh, celebrities, what do they know? I'm like, well, in fact, put it this way. I'm like, so if you get well known on a show, if that job suddenly finishes, you've got no income coming in because you're going from gig to gig. The people that suddenly want to know who you are because you're on a show suddenly trickle away because you can no longer do something for them. You haven't got the money to pay an agent or a publicist that get you to the events, and they all go and you're left with no one. So I
Yeah.
always say to people, put it that way. It's like, it's no different than working in the corporation or the fitness industry.
Well, you're talking about the entertainment business and how celebrities' mental health is affected. But I actually think in in our industry, in the fitness industry, we as instructors use our ego to stand up and face a crowd of people.
Yeah.
And be vulnerable, like be judged. So maybe you're not as strong as the instructor at 6 o'clock. Maybe you're not as flexible as the instructor at 8 o'clock. Maybe you're not as confident as 80% of the teachers because you're brand new. Maybe you're not as young as the bunch of instructors anymore because you're getting old. And there's so many judgments around these days that these beautiful teachers that have decided to jump up in front of 20 people, 100 people regularly and wear lycra. And put their hearts on the line and speak from their hearts. I believe this is not something that someone's told me. This is just a personal perception. There's a predisposition to having your ego hurt, and that's a mental health moment. That is your mind saying, "Ouch, ouch! I'm not sure how I feel about that class. That class didn't clap for me. That class didn't respond when I asked them to scream, yay. Oh, I'm not doing my job very well. Oh, I'm not. Oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Oh. And then you make up your own reality and sit inside it. And anybody in the public, in whatever sense, we're in the service industry where you're doing a service, I think is predisposed. And that's in my limited experience, because I'm not everywhere and I don't know what it's like to be in everyone else's shoes. But I do know one thing: the brighter the light, the darker the shadow.
Yeah.
So people that put themselves really out there and they're the super happy people all the time, I'm absolutely convinced that there's a shadow, because that sunshine has to fall somewhere, and behind there's a whole lot of shadow. And that's a metaphor I got from a personal development course I went on 10 years ago. A lady called Robin taught us that the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. And it makes total sense to me. You don't go very far to see it. So, if people aren't getting that social interaction now and they're not getting that physical contact that they usually get, it's going to creep up, or it might just smack them in the face and go, why do I feel rubbish today? Why did I wake up and just have a lame start to my day? And it's because everything that your personality and ego feeds off, and ego, I say, not with a bad stigma. It's got a attached to it. It's a reference to your energy. And it takes a big hit, and people are at a loss of where to fill up the cup, especially extroverts. Introverts might not be doing too bad at the moment, but extroverts.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing, and I think when you suddenly you get a little bit older. I mean, I can remember going into the industry first. I remember some spin classes. I was teaching spin classes, and I went to a new club, and a couple of people had got off the bike earlier than the finish. I took that in my head and gone, oh, what have I done? And then I actually asked for feedback. They were rushing because it was a lunchtime class and they were going back to the office. So it wasn't on me, but I'd overworked myself. And I think a lot in the fitness industry, and I wouldn't just say predominantly it's the young people coming into the industry, but that's a big stress in itself, where there has been moments in the past where every instructor would feel like saying, when someone's on the front of the class and everyone's listening out, and you're teaching and you're putting your heart and soul, and there's someone on that front row that knows every move, and you make one mistake but you keep going, and they judge you and they let you know about it. You take that internally, pull yourself down, and sometimes you just feel like going, hey, here you go, if you can do better. But I think on the other side of it, what I've learned through my own journey and the mental health stuff is that we don't know what's going on in their life as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that light and dark on both sides. And I suppose I'll ask you a question. Now that you have taught all over the world, developing your senses in the psychology of people and knowing what ticks in certain people, have you found that you've had to learn more in terms of how different people work and their mindsets? I mean, you're bringing a commonality through a class, aren't you? But some people, what's the word? Some people connect to you better by a certain method of teaching, some of the other?
Oh,
Or is that what you and Dan have just like bounced off each other and know how to?
yeah, I mean, it's a set of tools when you're teaching. Read a room, read the
Yeah.
room,
Yeah.
and try and take a unbiased read on the room so that your ego isn't going, ah, but
Yeah.
have a open-minded view to what's happening in the room. I tell you what I have noticed. Yeah, I've definitely got better and better. I've been teaching 20 years. I've got better and better, much better. And I think I was really receptive in the early days. Now I'm almost more perceptive. Like I don't know. You develop your skills, you sharpen your tools, and everything gets a little bit clearer as you get older. Isn't that fun? Even though your sight goes and your hearing goes, my hearing is definitely not what it was. Not that it was ever great, but you definitely get a little bit better at that. But what
your
I have
hearing must be down. Sorry to interrupt. Your hearing must be down. Like I taught for maybe 15 years, and we can be watching a movie at the night, and I'll be like, turn it up, and my wife's like, that's so loud, and I'm like, that is not loud. Turn it up. Like that's a bad thing about group fitness. Like we just don't know. We're like, crank it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I'm convinced that TVs aren't as loud as they used to be. I'm convinced. Yeah. TV channels not as loud. You have to put them up. I'm like, woof, 10? No one listens to 10. Put it on 12. Come on.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Great when one of my friends comes over who doesn't have fitness and they know that it's a 12 type of show. You can't have it on 10. Makes them feel better. Going back to what you said about fitness and mental health, and I've noticed that people have come up to me to share their stories when I've traveled around the world. They've gone out of their way to come and attend class just to tell me what a difference Body Combat has made in their life, or Shabam has made in their life, or their friends' lives, or their kids' lives. So exercise is important for mental health because it's great for your physiology, but how we connect as instructors with our people around us on a day when they really need us, we have no idea. We're just up there doing what we do.
Yeah.
We have no idea what they're actually experiencing. And I've really had some heavy stories shared with me, which I'm really honoured to have listened to. But I've walked away from some stories and I've really felt heavy. I felt quite emotional from listening to stories and then realizing just in that moment how much responsibility is on us to make sure these workouts are everything that they say they are in the can. Make you fall in love with fitness, change your world, life-changing fitness. It is life-changing fitness. And as long as I think to myself, as long as I keep pouring my heart into it, people will feel that emotion.
Yeah.
And right now, at times like this, when teachers can't go to clubs and can't teach, the challenge and the questions around, well, how do we maintain that? How do we do that? Off the top of my head, I definitely think that your mini communities in every class you teach at every different club you teach, you have the ability to form WhatsApp groups, Viber groups, Instagram groups, to keep the conversation flowing because people just want to check in and hear something. You might just post a funny meme. You might just drop in and tell them what you've done this morning or what's happened, or you just did an LMOD workout, or instructors have just done the new release drop on the app. And, just a chat sometimes is the best way to keep things going. We are obviously, like I said this morning, working on solutions in this new time crisis to navigate around licenses that we're definitely grateful for, but need to move around. Just get the chat going. I think it's just about form groups like my 10+5 combat group or the Shabam group on a Thursday night. If there's a way to do it, put yourself out there and have a chat and give people an opportunity to approach you through these channels and just check in with. Because when you are sad, you don't actually put your hand up. Here's the thing.
No.
When you're sad,
some people don't either.
You don't put your hand up because you feel like, oh, am I going to bring it down? Am I going to bring the room down? If I say something, does that person really care? Do they really want to listen? So if it's eyes open, ears open, look for the signs, recognize changes in behavior, pay attention to your people, and you reach out to them. All of this, reach out if you need help, reach out if you need help. Not everybody's going to do that.
Yeah, I think that because that's the normal response, isn't it? Hey, Rachel, how you going? Yeah, I'm okay. Like, so it's kind of knowing, and they always say that the more that I've learned about this is just having that confidence just to go a bit further. I mean, you can't say anything wrong. It's all about listening at the end of the day, but you need to step over. And I always say, look out for the strong people, because my personal story is why I'm so ingrained. Oh, this is my daughter. Hi, you come and say hi.
Come on.
Come and say hi. Yeah. Oh, this is later, everybody.
Hello.
Wave. Yeah. Bedhead.
What's that in your hands? Are you doing arts and crafts?
She's doing everything at the minute. She's watching Bluey on TV. Now she's run off. But if it goes to anyone, look at those strong people in your group as well, because back to my story, what happened with me, and a lot of people in the fitness industry might attest to this, but still might be quiet about it. You probably know my story. I'm very transparent in that I used to teach in Bondi, all the Sydney clubs, and I used to teach to maybe 60, 70 people. If you saw me on stage, I was an extrovert. I am. I can talk to anybody. And I think this is why the campaign keeps growing, because I just dare talk to anyone. But at the same time, I was hating myself, like body dysmorphia, self-hate, all that. So even my wife at the time thought it was a sense of vanity, because imagine somebody on stage and they're giving it, seemingly looking like they're loving it, getting home and looking in the mirror for about an hour, 2 hours. She's going, oh, come on, knock it off. And I can laugh now, but at the time I posted a picture the other day that my wife took without my top on ages ago, and I had the 6-pack because I was doing so many combat classes. Good for your 6-pack. But that picture I posted as a thing to go, now I can look back and go, Glenn, you look good. But at that time I had that butt, I hated that. Like what I thought, perceived. So that's all in there. And I will say, because we're speaking to a lot in the fitness industry, is don't ever think you're alone in that. Yes, we might be this pillar of we're confident and we're on stage, but what comes with that is sometimes we suddenly think, oh, well, I need to look like this and I can't seem to be weak if I'm well, we're human as well. So
everybody's human. The CEO of Les Mills International just sent the email round after the government announcement of the new rules for the day, which we're all getting every day. Yeah. And I loved the last paragraph that he put, which was, okay, the best thing we can do for each other is show love and respect. We're all human, Glenn. You said it. We're all human, but we're forgetting how to be human as we get other things to do jobs for us, like robots, technology. We're forgetting how to be human because it's been taken out of our hands and we don't have to do what we used to have to do. So show love and respect. Love is a doing word, so it's something you do to show that you are caring of somebody else. Mm-hmm. And respect is knowing that what's happening in your world is really important, but what's happening in your world is just as important. And at a time like now, when we're stressing and looking for people to fix things, we have to fix it ourselves. Yeah. All of us have to stick together and fix this together. And no one person is going to be fixing it for everybody. This is a collective thing. This is humanity. Pandemic, pan referring to global. Mm-hmm. No one's escaping this. Everybody's in it. And if we're just respectful of as much as we can be, I think we'll pop out of this as much better race. What do you think?
Can't say any better. I think it's just a time for... we did a podcast actually yesterday, a really quick one, and we just flipped it on its head and we were like, we're not taking the reality out of the situation. What if... and it's a lot of questions that people are asking because things are coming up going, it's almost, again, not taking the reality out of it because we know what's happening and it's affecting a lot of people in different ways.
Yeah.
What we're also seeing, though, is people reconnecting again. And it's like you say, almost becoming human again. We're seeing Venice canals becoming more blue. The ocean lives are coming. We're seeing China less polluted because the factories are shutting down. But you can't take away the fact that, people are being affected with jobs. We all are. So it's one of those things, isn't it? People are questioning it, going, okay, so our heads are not up in the clouds, but at the same time, you're going, okay, well, humans are connecting again, which is essentially what we were made to do. Things are happening in the world which have so long gone, and the climate has been getting out of control, but now it's sort of coming back. And something just popped up on my feed, actually. Bondi Beach is closing. So they've just closed Bondi Beach.
Have they?
Yeah. So I posted this morning because somebody had put a picture up and it was like hundreds of people on Bondi Beach, and we've been putting self-distancing.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I've just seen it pop up, or just on flash on, it's saying Bondi Beach is closed. So yeah.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you can't self-distance if everybody goes to the same place.
Yeah. I think.
Hi,
Really,
House. Hi, everyone. Hi, House. I'm just seeing people come online on my. Are you getting people's comments on your feed like I am?
Yeah, I'm getting a few at the bottom.
We haven't said hello to anybody yet, I guess. House is
One
House.
Oi. So that person who put Oi has got to be Northern from England.
Oh, it is. Oh, Danny Maria. Oi. Hi,
Oi.
Precious. You never know who's going to listen to this. I mean, I go on with the best intentions to try and find some kind of connection that's going to comfort people. I don't know. You and I are having a good old yarn, as we say, old yarn. And hopefully somebody sat there and just clicked on this at the right time and gone, oh, yeah, that I needed to hear that.
Yeah, well, that's why there's sort of with the campaign, that's what I do. Like, I don't care if one person sees it or a lot. Like, I'm very grateful it's grown. But when you put your post on or something, maybe someone was just scrolling their feed and saw your story or saw your support and then just went, I've been feeling like that lately and I can connect with that. And maybe I just needed to hear that. So now I feel like I'm not alone. Yeah. So, yeah, I think what people are going to see when we're finally over this is that we're no longer going to take for granted chatting to our friend, or we're not going to take for granted just going out and things like that. So I think there's going to be a shift in it. I think it just all, like we say, starts with that. And what we're doing at the minute, I think, for fitness and what I've noticed being resourceful is, if you're wondering how you can do stuff, I saw someone post something about they're learning their combat and they're doing live on demand or something. So why don't you do a chat live with somebody and you can practice and give each other feedback before you do your test? Or why don't you get a group of you to do a Zoom call all day and you all do like you're in class? Like, we're still connected by the internet, aren't we?
We are, absolutely. We are connected. And one thing I'm hoping, because I'm a massive hugger, but I don't hug, all right? If you're sweaty, you can't hug me. Now you get. I get so much, like, people when I do quarterlies and Les Mills lives, we take photos, right? So you can take your memorabilia. Anyone that's watching this and tuning in, we did that. Yeah, there you go. I always have this thing, I'm like, oh, if we're sweaty, maybe you could just stand there and we can just take a picture like this. Like, my mates crack up laughing at me. But, you know, if I'm not particularly tall, so if somebody comes and puts their arms around me, I end up with their germs on my shoulder. And, you know, like, we've got to be mindful about how we react. If you're dry, if you're not sweaty, and once this pandemic's over, everyone's going to actually value the hug.
Yes, but I'll just say, I don't feel too sorry for you in that respect, because can you remember those years that I used to take pictures of you guys?
Yeah.
So I'd be at the bottom of the stage and it'd be like, it would be a waterfall. That was full of sweat, but you know what? We got some good shots.
You did catch some really good shots, to be fair. Yeah. I'm very grateful of those shots. I don't really post many pictures because I got into that headspace of I realized that every time I posted something, I could feel the register ding, 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 you know. I'm predisposed to the that kind of world, the ego was being fed, and I didn't really like that. I thought it wasn't suitable to me, so I've stepped back from it for a few years, maybe a couple of years. I don't know. You know how time flies.
That's not a bad thing, is it? To actually remove.
It's not a bad thing, no.
Yeah, just remove yourself from social media a while. I mean, I did, because I found that body dysmorphia attributed mine from comparing myself to Instagram people.
Yeah.
Like, and then I was just like, some of these people put additional supplements in their body and they're just not honest about it. But
Yeah.
in my head, I'm going, yeah, but I'm trying everything. Well, I'm not taking additional things, but I'm going, they're saying they're natural and they're trying all this stuff and I'm doing it and it's not working. So I just removed myself from it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. You noticed it, you acknowledged it, you accepted it, and then you got through it. You're like, right, because it's all just you've got to power through these moments. And when you realize something, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Which is right. And
then
leading
what you guys have started doing, what I like, and I always try to do through all of my socials, is because someone asked me this question yesterday and said, how do you try and disparage the kind of the disconnection of what people see as the end result? So someone will come to your profile or mine and see me shooting a lot of big names and you all over the world doing all this. And I was like, I'm always transparent and I put the behind the scenes. So I try and show people that, yeah, I might be shooting these people, I might be doing this campaign, but I also work 12 hours a day on site. I do photography when and I can. I've got a family, and you guys have started noticing on your stories, you're always showing behind the scenes what goes into it. Because ultimately social media is the highlight reel and we only see the end result. So when we see you guys in your hair and makeup on stage, that they don't see what goes into the script work. Because I can remember when I used to teach and my feedback was always like, oh, just learn to script. I'm Northern and I always found that very bloody hard. It was like, it would just come out and I'd try and script and I'd be there going, da, da, da. And I still wouldn't remember it because I don't learn like that. It's, yeah, I think you just have to, like you say, find out how you work. And I remember I used to watch you guys on the videos. I'd watch it, I'd turn around and I'd do it. And then I'd turn around, can't read the books. But that's how I learn.
Yeah. Everyone's got different lifestyle, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So
the way I keep it real is I've pretty much spent the last 16 years traveling.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows me on social media, there's a chance that I've been to a club or a city or something close to them, and they will have seen how normal I actually am. And they will be more than aware that it's not all glitz and glam. In fact, it's airports, hotels, and I'm often traveling on my own. So you've got to really love what you do to want that kind of life. Fortunately, I really do love teaching group fitness.
Yeah.
Everyone can tell, because when I get up, I teach or speak from the heart, and it's never a challenge. Some days we get the good days. Some days I'm not having a great day. We get actually those days are better sometimes. I'm not having a great day. I get nuggets of genius that it just comes to me because I'm so authentic and not afraid to keep it real.
Yeah. Yeah. I think anyway, that's a long question. Someone's put something. What have they put there? Glenn has shed some light on all of this. What's that? Comparing these to others, but your campaign. Oh, it's disappeared. I can't read it all.
Yeah, it's a big comment. It kind of disappeared. I'm not sure if I can move it down. Oh, there we go. It says, I love that we are seeing how much work goes into this now more on social media. Still hard to not fall in the trap of comparing to others, but Glenn's campaign has shed some light on this. So thank you. Nice, Chris.
Nice. Right. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, well, that's amazing.
I had the opportunity to teach side by side with Rach. She's just as awesome in person.
Oh, well.
Thank you very much. My friend Kaylee. Kaylee's on here. Hello, Miss Kaylee. Jack, I replied to your message before. You and Ricky Bobby. What's up, Ricky Bobby? If you're not first, you're last, Ricky Bobby.
Dear. Hey, guys.
Kisses to you too, people.
One thing I do love when people say, "Oh, Rachel's down to earth, she's like that." Being a fellow Northerner, if you weren't down to earth, or if I weren't down to earth with what I was doing, you'd get knocked down to earth by your family and friends back in Yorkshire. I think it's just the way that we kind of broke. Like, you take people at face value and you treat whoever you meet like your neighbour, and well, I always have anyway. I think it's just a northern thing. Do you think?
Well, we know it's northern because we grew up northern, so we don't really understand any different.
You imagine doing this if we both had our original northern accents. No one would understand it. Did you have to change your teeth and silent? Do you have to change it everywhere you go?
I'm pulling your leg. Of course.
What did you say? I missed that.
I said, are you saying my accent's changed? And then I'm like, I'm just pulling your leg, and no, it's changed. I've been here in April. I'll begin 17 years in New Zealand.
16 years in Sydney.
Is it? Wow.
16. But every time I phone home, they always say, "Why do you sound so posh?" And I'm like, I don't sound posh. But to Yorkshire people, I sound posh. Yeah. Someone from Chile.
I've got Ecuador, Bolivia, wow. Chile, Scotland.
So is everybody in lockdown?
Ricky's on. Ricky's on, Jack. Ricky's on. That's Kaylee's husband.
Ah.
They're both stuck in the room together. You know, like,
so are they in lockdown?
They're in America at the moment, and they're hopefully heading back to South Africa.
Peru, Brazil, Colombia. Are you guys all on lockdown as well? I heard Singapore's not as bad. I heard Singapore had got on top of everything.
Well, you know, Reagan lives in Singapore.
Yeah.
I could ask him. I mean, he seems to be doing all right.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. Yeah, I heard they were doing really, like, because they got on top of it, but Singapore are very clean. Like, you just walk down the street and everything's just perfection. I love Singapore.
Yeah,
oh, they're great. Yeah, someone said they're great.
Yeah, they follow the rules as well in Singapore. There ain't no rule breakers over there. I think crime's almost zero.
That's good though. Like, oh, I'd love to live in Singapore. But do you guys teach there often, or Reagan always comes out?
No, Reagan comes over here. He's
incredible, that guy. First time I saw him at Filex on Body Pump, he just brought the house down.
I know.
Yeah.
I've known him. We've known each other 10 years. We have a good giggle. He's one of my besties.
Yes.
Ray. Yes. And house is in Singapore. Oh, right. That's right. House is in Singapore. You did email me, didn't you? And you told me so. Singapore, we're great. That's good. I think I'm just catching up with my feed here. Colombia's on lockdown. I mean, the whole world's going to be in lockdown soon, pretty much.
Yeah.
Lau from Brazil.
What's Brazil like? Is Brazil on lockdown?
I don't know. Tell us, Lau. How is it over there? This guy's great. I've known him since I've started Les Mills. Fantastic, funny guy. Loves to do body combat. The Brazilians are just full of passion and love and craziness. They have good food and alcohol as well.
What about the Romanians? Oh no, is it Roman? You know Roman? He's from Romania.
Yeah.
He's
Roman?
Roman is Sydney, but he's from Romania, I think, as well, isn't he? Or where's he from?
I don't know.
Sorry, Roman, you'll probably be watching this because he loves combat.
He does,
yeah. Thailand. So I remember when I had to move to Bangkok, when we couldn't find childcare in Sydney. We lived in Bangkok for 2 years, and I was going to a place called True Fitness. And Ben, you know Ben from Thailand?
Oh, yeah.
He got me up to teach with him. He's an incredible guy. But it was all in Thai, obviously. It was my first experience all in a Thai class, and I'm stood at the side. Thank God I knew the choreography, because I was like, what? And I lived there for a year, and maybe being in my 30s, I found it so damn hard to learn a new language. Whereas my kids, I'm learning it off them now because they're picking it up. Yeah, but it's hard.
It's hard.
Do you guys have to learn some languages when you go, or?
Yeah, like some are much harder. I can't attempt Chinese. There's like 4 different types. You can say one word 4 different ways and it means 4 different things, and that scares me.
Yeah.
I love French, Portuguese, Spanish. German I struggle with. The Scandinavian language I can't do. I like copying. I'm pretty good at copying accents, as Kaylee and Ricky know. And yeah, and Mookie. So I'm quite fond of copying the South African accent, but apparently I don't sound like a woman when I do my South African accent. I'll save that for another Instagram Live. We could be here for a while. The kids do. I've lost it.
Washington on. They must be in lockdown.
Yeah. I've lost 36 kilos so far, and I don't want to put it all back on. The kids do. Wow, 36 kgs, amazing. That's incredible. Okay, how to not put it back on. Put affirmations around your house on your wall so that you wake up and you see it all the time, that this too shall pass, this too shall pass. And you want to pop out the other side. Looking fantastic.
Yeah.
You know? You just have to remind yourself, because if we get stuck in the drama of it and the despair, we'll forget that it's going to pass. It's going to pass.
Yeah.
Indonesia, Thailand. Oh my gosh. I need to scroll more. I guess all these comments. I feel like you killed me during filmings with your accents. You know I did. You know okay, Lau's responded, but he's not said anything about how it is over there. But it's good to see you too, Lau.
There's a lot from Colombia.
Yeah, snacking life. Oh my gosh. All my friends know that my pantry is full of snacks. So I'm going to have to be...
We actually went the other day and we were like, everybody seems to be... I still don't get the toilet roll hoarding. But we actually went the other day and we was like, so if you are going to be on lockdown, wouldn't you want to be happy and stock up on snacks rather than toilet roll? Because the last I heard, it didn't give you diarrhea. So I still don't get the toilet roll. And I know a lot of people are in fear that it purely comes from China. But yeah, there was also a news thing that came on the other day because the Prime Minister has actually asked people to stop hoarding. But it actually showed some of the warehouses where there was like toilet rolls, and going, we just don't need to do it. But then someone also changed my perception on that and going, the people that are panic buying and hoarding, don't be too hard on them because, again, we don't know what's going on in their head. They're panicking, they're anxious, so it's their mental health, they're being emotional, they don't want anything to harm them or their family. So it's just being compassionate, I suppose. Learn to
love
just...
and respect. Love and respect. Gotta do it.
Exactly, Mondo. But
right.
I've started, I'll tell you before I go, whilst we've got all these people on. So I started a challenge towards mental health, saying I am imperfectly perfect.
Yep.
And all they have to do, whereas I haven't even got a pen on me, I should have a pen, is pretty much write on your hand, I am imperfectly perfect, to show that we're all united in this. So we've got people from Colombia, we've got everywhere. There's 77. I'll post it all over the Imperfectly Perfect campaign. And then we can go share it and let people know. And that's one way the fitness community can show everyone else that we're united.
I like it.
Let's do it. Because we are all imperfect.
We are so imperfect. I'm going to talk about writing on hands before I sign off. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks so much, Glenn.
You're welcome.
Enjoyed this conversation. It's just hanging out with each other, but from the other side of the ditch. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
On the
there isn't a Yorkshire one of those. We should have done a Yorkshire one.
How do you navigate your personal life with your professional life since everyone wants to be your friend? That's a good question. I definitely will answer these questions probably in tomorrow's. So tune back in tomorrow. I'll have another chat. I'll read all these questions and feel free to ask them tomorrow. I have found a way to do it, and it's not that challenging. You can do it, and I'll talk about that tomorrow. But back to writing on your hands, because we want this campaign. When I did that bungee jump last week, 2 weeks ago, they wrote my weight on the back of my hand, obviously, because you need to know what you weigh.
Yeah.
Like, jump on these scales, Rachel. And I was like, oh, yeah. I've got an idea. I was like, oh, well, that must have been, I've had a big week. was thinking to myself, that better not be permanent ink, because anyone in Queenstown knows that if you've got numbers written on your hand, they know what those numbers mean.
Oh dear.
Funny story to share. So yeah, let's do this, people. Write it on your hand and add it to your story and share it around. Thanks for tuning in. Keep in touch, Glenn.
Yep.
If you hear anything, if you want to chat, you know where I am.
Cool. Thank you for your time, mate.
Thanks, everybody. We'll speak to you tomorrow.
See you later.